today to talk to a gentleman who understands this principle of life better than we do, and it's a young man who I consider, an asset to young people nowadays because just through him, I've seen a lot of things change, especially my mindset. I'm talking about our guest.
Yes, Dr. Javnyuy Joybert. He is a remarkable person, as many already call him, and of course, that is what he's addressed as Dr. Remarkable or Mr. Remarkable. So, of course, he is rare, he's remarkable. That's what he always says at every event you find him in.
Like
even when he is just having a conversation with you on a daily basis, you find that he always will love to do that, give you that reminder that you are rare and you are remarkable.
All right, that's it. The next edition or a fresh edition of Apex Snapshot will be yours in the next couple of seconds here on Apex One Radio. Thank you so much for joining us. Today we are receiving a young entrepreneur. All right, that's a beautiful piece of music by Maxel Jai, titled Souvenir Yakati Moza. Music released so many years ago has brought the time to 8 minutes past 4 here in the studio of Apex One Radio in Texas. It's exactly 3:08. Texas, from where our guest will be speaking. Javnyuy Joybert is his name. Yes, it's a household name, of course. So lots of you out there know not only the gentleman, but his works. His works even speak more than he does. Thank you once again for joining us on Apex One Radio. Sit back, relax, and of course, enjoy every bit of what we'll be presenting to you this Thursday afternoon here on Apex One Radio. And so, knowledge is vast. Knowledge is vast and very accessible. If this was the case in the past, I would conveniently say that it is even more so. It is even more so today. So, where we should be focusing our attention is how to grab this knowledge, tailor it to suit our needs, then go ahead and use this knowledge accordingly. This is not always the case, unfortunately. Knowledge always seems to be far away, perhaps because many think it is. It is only when you have understood the importance of knowledge, then you can start rushing for it. Life coaches hold that nothing can be so difficult to get if you really want to get it. It just takes the thought of getting that thing, determination to get it, work towards getting it, prayers, and you will definitely get it. Once that mindset is put in place, the rest comes into play. Javnyuy Joybert is a go-getter who smiles over everything thanks to his unshakable belief that anyone can become anything so long as they desire it and are ready for it. The young industrious and intelligent PhD uses concrete actions as finishing on his wide range of ideas, especially in entrepreneurship. He writes, speaks publicly, trains, teaches, travels, and what of you? He's a household name, of course, whose story is savored more through his actions. The indefatigable intellectual of high standing has a rich profile, which we have sought to exploit on radio today. Joybert accepted to have a talk with Blessing and Ernest, and he is the guest in today's edition of Apex Snapshots. You'll be joining us.
And I am
shortly.
Blessing
My name is Ernest,
Ekiko, welcoming you to this new edition of Apex Snapshot. Sit back, relax. Now, if you need a cup of water, then you may want to get that, or tea, or whatever it is you love drinking. You get back, you get that, then come back, sip a little of it, relax, enjoy every beat of this particular session, which will be beginning now. And we are bringing you this live on a Thursday evening with the man of the show himself, Joybert, Dr. Remarkable, who is now joining us from Texas, United States. Joybert, it is our pleasure to have you with us today. Welcome on the show. Okay. He definitely does. He's like what we would say jack of all trade and master of all.
Entrepreneur.
Like you love to say, Ernest, jack of all trade, master of all. And he is one who is definitely focused. He's got this laser focus where he doesn't fall along the way. He picks it up every time, and he's always making sure to grow on a daily basis. So we do know that he is already with us in the studio, but probably just working it out with his sound. I think Joybert is here again with us from Texas, United States of America. Joybert, can we get you now?
Yes, I hope you can hear me and I can get you.
All right, 10 on 10.
Awesome. I'm doing good, and Texas is cold this morning in Houston, and it's such an honor to be on the show as your guest, and I've followed your show.
We can get you 5 on 5 now.
Your show for a couple of times. I mean, for a couple of years, I think.
So, how are you doing today, John?
It's good to be here as a guest and to share one or two things.
Beautiful. Let me bring you in with this. You are always so relaxed. You're always smiling.
I think that it is
like fun, like you like catching fun.
You know, I always say something funny that many entrepreneurs that you see that are very humble,
incredible things.
Is one that humility is infused into them by what they have seen in life. And I would say that I think that I have grown to see a lot in life, and in terms of, you know, what life can offer, and I don't think that there is anything wrong to move around with your shoulders high, your head up high. And I'm not talking that it should be full of low self-esteem and self-confidence. I mean, I know who I am and what I bring to the table, but you know, life is a lot more fun when you get to understand that being just genuinely happy, being authentic, and just loving everybody that comes your way, and being so kind, there's nothing that can represent or that can replace that as far as life is concerned. And looking at from where I've come from, you know, I always say that based on everything that you can use as a matrix to determine if somebody deserves to be successful. I don't have all of those things that can validate a successful young man. So with all of that I have seen, the only option I have is to be grateful, you know. I think that's what I would say, and
that's a good one there.
God also get to teach you how to be humble and kind and down to earth, because that is one of the fruits of the spirit, of course. So
that's right. You just want to keep listening, right? Like, just keep going. You know, we just want to take notes. It's a good thing you did mention that. From where you are coming, you have navigated through one or two things, or probably hurdles that have taught you that aspect of humility, simplicity. So can you just let's start this ride by going down memory lane? Let's go down memory lane, and let's have Joybert take us into his childhood. So what are some of the memories and things you would love to actually retain and remember when it comes to your childhood growing up?
apparently we'll ask him again. Let's see what happens. Hopefully he will be back. This is Apex One Radio.
Yes, Joybert,
get us? Yes. Snapshot.
Did you get the question?
I didn't get your question. Please kindly repeat. Thank you.
All right, then. I was just saying it's a good thing you did mention about from where you are coming. There are certain hurdles, if I may say, that you have experienced, and there's certain things that have shaped you to who you are today, and particularly have given you this aspect of humility and simplicity, which many can actually see in you. So let's just go down memory lane. Let's get to Joybert's childhood. So what is it? Are there specific things, aspects of your childhood that you would love to retain, you would love to remember, you would love to always have as a part of you growing up to this man that you are today?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that I can talk about my life without my childhood. It is the definition of who I have grown to be, and I love to share my story as far as my childhood is concerned for the purpose of inspiration and challenging people. And of course, I know there are many people that have gone a bit through worse things that I went through, but my childhood is almost like the story of many young people. My mom had me while she was in secondary school, so I was born out of wedlock, and so growing up, that stigma of not knowing your dad and going through the battles of having a stepdad and all of that, and always, and at that early time, having kids out of single mothers were not very rampant like we have today. Sorry to say that, but it was not. So just growing up with that stigma that, oh, he doesn't know the father, nobody knows his father, and all of that was very rampant. And my mom not being stable, financially and all of that, played a big role. When I was done with primary school, normally I was not supposed to continue with secondary school. The plan was I should learn a trade in the village and become a carpenter. In the village, that you get to see a car once a month, right? So, wow. and that was definitely the blueprint that they had for my life. And luckily, my mom's elder sister came and took me from the village and said I have to go to school, and she would do all she can to get me through secondary school. And so my life was always a battle. And with that, when that happened, I was able to get through secondary school. And she could do all she could to see me through secondary school. At the end, she was like, I cannot see you off through university because I cannot afford. And truly, she could not afford. She loves me like an own son. She still loves me like her own son. She calls many of my friends even know my aunt as my real biological mom instead of my real mom, because that's who sponsored me through school basically. And looking at all of this, I've just shortened the whole story. Define a lot. I always said I have the privilege to build a business and to build a career around the problems I face. If you pick every of my business, I will relate to a problem I went through my childhood that made me to start that particular business. So it's an inspiration, it's a motivation, it is a reason for why I do the things that I do, is because of what I went through when in the early days of my life, since when I started having the understanding of what life is and what I'm supposed to do. Yeah. I did my primary school. I did primary school in two primary schools. CBC primary school in the village.
We'd love to hear about those schools.
Yeah, where my aunt was working. So she's a retired nurse now. She was the nurse with the government. So we used to move around a lot. So I think we have lived in about 6 or so villages in the land so, and because they should transfer high a lot. So, but I've gone to primary school. I went through CBC primary school in Anse, that's the name of the village, and then CBC primary school in Bonjong. That's where I finished my first school living certificates. Then I now moved to, we were a Baptist family, so I did all my school around the Baptist school. So I went to Chaffee Memorial Baptist College, in Kumbo, where I did my secondary school. Then I moved to PCHS, Baminda Mankon, where I did my high school. Then from there, I did my undergraduate with International University of Baminda in financial management. Then I did my MBA with Rome Business School. Then my DBA, doctorate in business administration with Kesmos International University of America. Yeah, so.
Okay. That's a whole, what are we going to put this? It's like you've taken us from, was it the 80s into to the 21st century.
Yeah, well,
that's quite amazing.
That's it. So I've done, apart from the other programs that in the course of my career, I've had the privilege to also be into some prestigious schools, just do 3 months program. I did a 1-year online program with Cambridge University under the sponsorship of the Queen of England's program that I won an award with them. So part of the award was that they will sponsor me to do a program for 1 year, an executive program with the Cambridge University on how to lead change in companies and institutions and communities. Then I did a 1 month plus program with Clark Atlanta University in Atlanta, Georgia, a residential program. Yeah, then a few other short programs here and there just to scale up the knowledge and to adapt.
All right then. So we definitely understand why we should be addressing you as Dr. Javnyuy. You know. And it's interesting and inspiring to see that regardless of what your beginning was, you made sure that you were rewriting the story by yourself, and of course I know with the help of God Almighty. So let's talk about your motivation to management, financial management. Like, what is that thing that motivated you to want to get into studying financial management and analysis at the university level? Because of course, who just wakes up and wants to study this? There must be a reason. So what was your motivation for studying that?
Let me say poverty.
That's a good response.
So I think it was in Form 1 or Form 2, I asked my mom that, what does it take to work at the World Bank? That was the question I asked her. Because I have always, luckily for me, I always say I get to be a consultant and a trainer in a field that I've studied most of my life. I started from Form 1 doing commerce, accounting, so commercial education, right up. So I've studied business from secondary school, high school, university, undergraduate, MBA, doctorate degree, business all my life. And but my first love was to become a banker. That was my first love. And I was actually on that path. That's why I picked accounting and commercial education at the beginning, at the early days in my secondary school days. So I asked my mom one time, I think it was in Form 2 or Form 3, what does it take to work at the World Bank? And my mom said, I need to be good in economics. That was all she knew. She knew at that time. So she said, okay, fine, I'm going to do economics. And then I saw the relationship that exists between economics, commerce and finance, accounting, and all of these business maths. And that was how I picked up the path of being a commercial student or a business student in the early days from the year 2000 that I entered secondary school. I started that means I started reading business from the year 2000 as a business commercial student. And that was how the path to being that started. And so I read accounting and all of that in high school, and I got it in my advanced level certificates. Then on doing further research, I noticed that a lot of my friends were reading accounting, and I was like, I want to read something different, but it's valuable and it's disruptive and it will make me stand out. Then I stumbled on financial management and analysis, and that's why I picked up the course. And that was how I got to read financial management. If I didn't, my first choice was financial management, analysis, or accounting.
So poverty was the motivation.
Yes, I wanted to know how money works and how to work where there's money. Well, in simple terms, financial management is all about how do you help a business to manage the money they're already making. So in a business, there's a marketing department that market the products for people to buy, and the sales department, they reach the cash office that receives the money. But now the money is in the office. What do we do with this money? Do we take 10% and put back into production? Do we take 15%, put back into staff? Do we take 20% and buy equipment? So that is the job of financial managers. We make sure that the money that is already available is well used, and most importantly, makes the company profitable. And it's the same thing in the life of individuals. You're a worker and you're making $10,000 a month or $5,000, whatever. But what do you have made the money? That's good. But the art of money is in how you keep the money, manage it, and multiply it. So a good financial manager should help you to understand, how do you keep this money very well? How do you manage it well? And most importantly, how can you replicate this money and make more money? So in summary, we build strategies around helping people and companies to make good use of the money they have already made.
Wow. So can we say this is like helping people understand money distribution and replication for profitability?
Exactly. Another perfect way to summarize it.
I just wanted to see if I got that right, because I was taking notes. So given that you're telling us that financial management has to do with the knowledge of how to manage these finances, how to distribute them, how to replicate it as well.
Yeah.
Would you say that someone who went to school and studied financial management and analysis like you did, having the knowledge and having been educated in this field, is just automatically going to be financially comfortable?
What? No, because there are people that read business and they don't have businesses. There are people that read banking and finance, they don't own a bank. Right? So that is where there's a difference between knowledge acquisition and having the wisdom to deploy that knowledge. And that is your responsibility as a student, as a student of life, to understand that you have acquired knowledge. That is good, but how do you apply this particular knowledge? There are many people that have gone through years and years of knowledge acquisition and they have certificates, but they are not able to produce the results that the knowledge can produce because they lack the ability to apply the knowledge, deploy the knowledge, and see the result, and most importantly, improve on the knowledge. Because the financial management I studied in 2009 to 2012 is not the same today. If I use that same knowledge, I will be as broke as hell, right? Because we didn't know about cryptocurrency then. We didn't know about digital assets then.
That's right.
But now we are advising somebody on how to keep their money. You need to think about online platforms and digital platforms. But by then, we could talk about land. I was talking with somebody and I said, if you read economics, you would have read the book by Adam Smith, The Wealth of Nations. Okay. If Adam Smith was alive today, Adam Smith would rewrite that book. He spoke about the factors of production, spoke about labor, land, capital, and all of that. If he write that book today, he will add digital platforms because they are capital right now. You are using this platform right now. You can make money from this platform as a radio station right now. It is an asset. But 20 years ago, this asset was not part of the system. So understanding these kind of dynamics still is a very difficult challenge for many people to understand how to
stuck there. Hopefully we'll have.
Sorry about that. I don't know why this is happening, but it's strange today.
It's really strange today.
Snapshot.
We're going to arrest
We're having some technical issues on the show today. I don't know why, but hopefully everything will be fine. Yeah. Let's see if he's back. Okay, he's back. Welcome back.
Different.
Exactly. So I was just saying that to emphasize that if anybody is going to understand how to, there is the art of making good use of what you learn that depends
back
on
to you.
That's your responsibility.
You were telling us
the highest indicator of this century is the person who doesn't have the ability to learn, unlearn, and relearn, and then deploy what they learn. And that is your responsibility. God will not come and do that for you. Your teacher will not come and do that for you. But the difference is many people, let me use lazy in quotes, they are not able to go through the process of thinking, creating, and of course deploying that. And every human being, let me say this, every human being has the ability to deploy what they know, but it requires hard work, dedication. It requires sitting at night and just trying to understand, how do I crack the code? How do I implement this? How do I build a system to do this? That is where the difficult part is. So if you read financial management and you're broke, there's something you're not doing.
That's right. There really is something you're not doing. I think that's right, Ernest. Don't you think?
I think so.
Let me answer by asking a question. Is there anything on earth that you will do that is not human being related?
We also understand, Joybert, that you like human resource management.
Even if you may not see the person, there will be a human being behind the scenes.
That's right.
The producer of this program, we cannot see him, but trust me, he's behind the scenes. So it's our responsibility.
All right, again, we lost him. We're having a lot of technical issues. We'll probably have to do some music. Time for our producer to fix the system. Let's see if Maxwell is there. Maybe a piece of music.
Carl on the beat, so it's lit.
Some good.
Akumbo music.
Shake you be my controller. Ma chérie, tu n'as plus de vie, c'est lui ton contrôleur. On m'a dit que tu as mis mon cerveau dans une bouteille. Moi je leur ai dit que c'est le blablabla, femme les jaloux. Mais peut-être qu'ils ont raison que you be my controller. Mais peut-être qu'ils ont raison que you be my controller. Maybe you got me under control, because you know I've been at your own. The people who talk deep on at their feet, you be my controller. Baby, you got me under control, because you know I've been at your own. N'a pas fait de yabby, oh, je m'en fous, you be my controller. Il y a ceux qui disent que c'est ton argent qui m'a contrôlé, oh. Mais bébé, je m'en fous, n'a y'all be my controller, oh. On m'a dit que tu as mis mon cerveau dans une bouteille, oh. Moi je leur ai dit que c'est le blablabla, femme les jaloux. Mais peut-être qu'ils ont raison que you be my controller. Mais peut-être qu'ils ont raison que you be my controller. Baby, you got me under control, because you know I've been at your own. The people who talk deep on at their feet, you be my controller. You be my controller. Baby, you got me under control, because you know I've been at your own. Baby, n'a pas fait de yabby, oh, je m'en fous.
Beautiful piece of music there by Ringing Controller, music released 2 years ago. Music whose remix came out just a couple of months ago. It has put the time to 22 minutes to 5 here in the studio of Apex One Radio in Texas. It's exactly 3:38. Texas, from where our guest now joins us once again. Welcome back, Joybert.
Thank you so much.
All right.
I noticed there's a change in scenario there.
Yes, I want to see if I was wondering if it's my network, so let's see if there's a change.
Okay. So I think we still had you on the aspect of human resource management, why it is that we have to manage people.
Yeah. Well, in business, if you're able to understand how people think, how people behave, able to understand the systems and the structures and the policies that can govern people to be productive and to contribute to the vision, mission, objectives, sales, marketing, whatever you want to do in business as far as operation is concerned, then you need to understand how people think. And I felt that, understanding human resources and how to lead them, manage them, work with them was definitely very critical, right down to human psychology and all of these things. So that was why I studied human resource management, because I felt that was the backbone of everything that I will get to do. And since I do a lot of work, not the majority of my work is into training and consulting, I also felt that it would send a very strong message to my clients, who will get to understand the work that I do, and that I'm credible enough and, of course, qualified enough to help them navigate whatever they're looking at as far as providing corporate training to the team is concerned. Yeah, so that is the main reason.
All right, then. It's important that you threw the question back at us, trying to find out if there is anything we can find on this surface of the earth that is not linked to a human being in some way. And of course, the answer was no. So when we're talking to human resource management professionals, or those who have interest in this specific field, what are some of the key things that you think human resource management aspirants must know about this field?
I think it's one of the fastest changing fields. When I read human resource management, there was no course that taught me how to manage remote workers.
Oh, yes. That's a good one. Remote workers.
Good. So now, in the midst of COVID-19 and after COVID-19, there are people that work in companies for years and they have never met a single colleague in that company.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So if any school is actually focused and future-oriented, they should create a course and add to human resource management faculty or department known as remote management of employees or whatever, because it is needed right now. You get a concept. So anybody who is coming to the field, they need to understand that the field is changing. They need to understand how technology is going to change the field. AI, machine learning, robots are human. They are workers too, but they are going to cause a change and a disruption in the whole process. And of course, with the advance of mental health challenges and challenges that workers get to go through now, and depression, we need to go beyond just being people.
All right. It played the first one on us again. Blessing. Hopefully he will be back. Our guest got stuck there. This is Apex One Radio. This is Snapshot, the edition of the 2nd of February 2022. We're speaking with a gentleman who spans across several things, including entrepreneurship,
financial management, human resource, people development.
Mm-hmm. Just to say that today we are profiling him, looking at some of the things he's been doing. But there's going to be a second phase of this show, which will have to do with the man and his philosophies.
That's right. Okay, because so there's quite a lot to learn from him.
Exactly. Let's find out if he's back. Joybert, welcome back. And we're sorry for that technical hitch, but we will just ride on like that till the end.
I think we were still with you regarding human resource, and particularly looking at remote workers, given that we are at is this still COVID period? I don't know if it is post or still COVID, but a lot is happening, and we have a lot of remote workers these days.
Right.
Yeah, so as the question was, what could I recommend? I would just recommend somebody who is agile enough and somebody who will have the foresight to anticipate where the industry is going to. For me, if I were to sit with the faculty leaders of any business school who are running a human resource program, I strongly recommend right now they need to be a course on managing remote workers, on how to do evaluation and monitoring, how to use the various online programs to do that. And of course, they should fit a course like mental health management, the human resource program, because people are going through a lot, and there are many people that don't know how to take charge of their mental health, and there's no employee that will perform at the highest level, because one of the responsibilities.
All right. So maybe we'll just move on to find out from you about business. I know you mentioned earlier on that you actually grew up in business. I mean, from when you were young, you did everything business, went to school, studied business. So there's a lot of talk about business these days, entrepreneurship. Looks like if that is not your path, then you have no path. Otherwise, why all this talk about business? Everyone must become a businessman, an entrepreneur these days. Why?
Well, I don't think that everybody must become an entrepreneur or a businessman these days. Everybody's into business in one way or the other, but not everybody is at the forefront. There's no business that will be sustainable without the employees. So whether we like it or not, even the employees are part of the business ecosystem. But I think that the growth of the art of starting and owning a business is very rampant, yes, because people are looking for various opportunities, and people are joining the business industry in general, maybe for the purpose of what they feel that they will get as far as running a business is concerned, maybe making more money, having more freedom, doing what they want and all of that. But majority of people have this the wrong way. They have this the wrong way, because that's why there are many people that when they get to business, they are like, oh, I didn't know that, this is how it will turn out to be. Because running a business is very challenging. And if you are not really passionate about, and you are not very committed to do, and let me say, if it's not your calling or your path that you were created to run, trust me, it's gonna hit you hard. I mean, I've worked with so many people that they will start today, and 1 month later, 2 months later, 1 year later, they're going back to look for a job in the corporate world. Not everybody is designed and created to be a founder. Not everybody have the founder's material. Being a founder takes a lot more, and many people don't get to see that. And with the advent of social media, people get to see the glamour, of what some entrepreneurs get to go through, maybe the travels and the high profile. Thank you. I'll be stable now.
All right, go right ahead. No problem.
Yeah, so not in simple terms, not everybody needs to own a business, but everybody is part of a business. Because if I always say that if you're going to make money, it's either you have created a platform or you're part of a platform. You don't just make money from the air. You must be part of a machinery that is turning, that can enable you to make money. So it's either you have created a machinery or you are part of the machinery. But you must not be a creator. You must not be a creator to feel that you belong. You must not. Sometimes people create businesses because they want to also show that they are CEOs before they go crash. And if that's why we have so many high rates of business failures from in America, Europe, Africa, Asia, Middle East. I've had the privilege to travel all these continents to do work, and we still have several failures in businesses in all of these countries, because 80% start and they fail. 90% don't make it up to 5 years. You see, and just about 5% perform above 10 years and above. So the massive failures are so it's so rampant, because many people get into it with the wrong mindset, the wrong perception, and all of that. So if you are getting into it, make sure that it's your path, and you're willing to do what it takes to make sure you stand in that path and succeed. Yeah.
Well, that's a very good one there, because indeed we realize that we have many starters most times, but we don't have people who are willing to be consistent and also ready to bear the brunt of that journey, the weight that comes with it. And I think just before you went off there, not too far back, you did mention something about the reasons for this increased creation of new establishments, new organizations, and businesses is also because you find people seeing entrepreneurs who've been there for years, traveling to one area or the other, and they feel like, oh, that's the life, but not ready to actually put in the work and sweat for it. Thank you very much for that. I'm sure our viewers and listeners are getting great value from you. Now, let's move a little from entrepreneurship and get to designs. Now, I put it as designs because we're yet to find out what this design is all about. So, you are, from your profile, we see that you're co-founder of Alpha Designs. And while we want to know more about what Alpha Designs is, we would love to know first, what is the Alpha in Alpha Designs? What does that mean to begin with?
Well, the Alpha stands for a couple of things. Okay. But first of all, Alpha Design is a tech company. Let me start from there. It's a tech company where we build apps and websites and systems, whatever tech that we can leverage to build using AI, high tech solutions and all of that. We have been doing that since 2017. But it was because I met this young man, and he's the co-founder and the CEO and the chief technology officer. I'm the co-founder and the chief operations officer. I met him, and he was this incredible tech guy, and all he needed was the direction. And since I had the money mindset, I could bring clients, I could structure the business and make it work. So that's how we came together. I brought the business mind, he brought the tech mind, and we came together, and that's how we formed Alpha Designs, the tech company. But the Alpha has a lot of meanings, and one of the reasons for Alpha is his names. His name is Akbar Franklin Ayuk, so Alpha, right? But there are also deeper meanings to the A and the F. F stands for F, other futuristic and all of that. But we are redesigning the name now, and we are turning it to intelligence tech, right? So because we are bringing a lot of AI into it, and we want to look at in terms of high intelligence and futuristic intelligence in that dimension. Yeah.
Oh, lovely. You see why I just said designs, because when we usually see designs, and then being part of the female gender, I would definitely think of fashion.
Yeah. You know, design is a business concept where you will hear of product design, you hear of user experience design, you hear of tech design, project design, and all of that. So it's just a concept of carefully crafting a masterpiece. And the person that promulgated the popularity of design is Steve Jobs of Apple. Steve Jobs, there's a story that when they were designing, you know, when you hold the Apple phone or the MacBook, is so incredibly beautiful. It's the most beautiful piece of art that you can hold in your hand. And if you open the inside, it's also very beautiful. So there was a situation where Steve Jobs was telling the engineers that they should design the iPhone in such a way that it's so beautiful that when a customer holds it, they cannot resist.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, and if you look at the iPhone, from the design to the camera to the screen to the body and to even the internal structure, there was a time that he was having a communication. I love to watch documentaries of guys who have made billions, so I can make billions. How I know these things. So, so there was a conversation that somebody shared that happened between Steve Jobs and the engineers, and when he saw the internal part of the iPhone and all of that, he said it was not beautiful. Then the engineer said, but nobody will see it. That's why we don't bother that it's beautiful. Then Steve Jobs says that, no, I want this piece of art to be well designed in a way that it is beautiful internally and externally. Right? Yeah, okay. So that's how he made the concept of design thinking to be very popular. And design thinking is one of the most powerful concepts in business, where if you want to design a product, if you use the concept of design thinking, it is hard for somebody to resist the product or the service that you are designing. So that's why we use design at the end of the name.
Okay.
Joybert is an expert in entrepreneurship. He is an author of several works as well. Guest in today's edition of Apex Snapshots on Apex One Radio. So while we were doing our research on the gentleman, we came across COSDEF. That should be an acronym.
Yes.
COSDEF Group Limited. What is it all about?
COSDEF Group Limited is the mother company that houses everything I do. So COSDEF is an acronym for the CO is community, building something for the community. The S is for sustainability, making sure that we are sustainable, thinking of the environment and all of that. The D is for development, and the E is for entrepreneurship, and the F is for futuristic. We are always thinking 10 years ahead, 20 years ahead, and all of that. So that's where COSDEF Group comes in. And it's a group, of course, because there are sub-institutions under, sub-companies under. That's the vision that we have. So, and now, the sub-companies we have started under COSDEF Group are 7 sub-companies, but 3 have failed and 4 are operating at the moment. So,
wow,
that's why there's COSDEF Group Limited.
Wow.
Wait, but you just said 3 have failed, and there was an emphasis on failed. Drawback and failure that doesn't seem to be you. Why?
No, I failed.
Why did those ones fail?
No, if you see an entrepreneur who is not failing, you are doing something wrong.
Okay.
I just love the fact that he highlighted that 3 have failed, because not everyone wants to say that there was a failure somewhere. Everyone just wants to be associated to the successes, the victory songs, and all of that. That's a remarkable one there.
Yeah. I am a better entrepreneur because I have failed in running companies. I have failed in companies. I have started, I've invested in, and they failed. I have failed in products and services and all of that. So, and that's the most beautiful thing I think that makes, I love to fail actually. I love to try things that I will see possibilities of failing, because it makes me a better consultant, because customers, in my job, I make money because I solve problems. I make money because I reduce people's chaos and headaches. So the more I learn how to fail faster, the more I'm going to succeed faster. That's how I look at it. So, and I think that you get to have an open mind and a lot of perception as far as different machineries and policies and systems and industries get to work when you get to fail in whatever that you're doing. But of course, fail with wisdom. It's stupidity to fail with $1 million. Right? So, and that's where I will take you back to the concept of the design thinking. One of the aspects of design thinking is prototyping and launching a little bit to understand whether it's right for the market or not, and then iterating before launching big or doing mass commercialization. Right? So there is the art of failing. One thing I know is I can fail and you'll never know I failed. But trust me, I've learned a lot from it that I will launch back next time and I'll become very successful at the same thing I failed a few moments ago, a few months ago. So there's the art of failing, and failing in a way that you fail with wisdom, lessons, and when you fail, you don't lose your heart, your kidney, and your mind.
You just fail forward. You don't feel backward. You pick the lesson and you go forward. That's amazing. That's amazing. I love the philosophies or the ideas that you have, and that's why our next edition are going to be breaking into some of those philosophies of yours. And when we talk about failing and succeeding, we have on your profile, if anyone has to talk about Joybert, you will fall on Selbit Africa, Pan-African Professional Skills Development Center.
Yeah.
So, and it appears that this institution is there to train future business leaders. Given that you are a business strategist and leader as well. So could you tell us a little about Selbit so we can understand?
So BMD Africa stands for the Center for Entrepreneurship, Leadership and Business Management Development Africa. That is the first ever institution created under COSDEF Group Limited. And it went operational in 2012. So it's my oldest baby and my oldest creation. And It started in Kumbo, in my village, in my town. And the concept was, the mission of CLBMD Africa was to train young people to acquire enterprise development skills and employability skills or corporate skills. So my desire was, how can I fast track young people to start up businesses faster or to enter the corporate world faster? And the best way to do that is to create an institution that will do what universities are not doing. I always say that we continue from where universities stop. We prepare you to get jobs faster by making you more employable, by going through 1 week program, 2 weeks program, 3 months program, and we do on-the-job programs. And then for those who want to start businesses, we have created different programs that can enable you to go through a couple of courses and be able to take your idea from your mind to your paper, and of course to the market, and start making money. And it grew over time from a small town in the northwest region of Cameroon, and we have been able to provide training in about 27 African countries. And of course, we have extended to provide trainings to people from the Middle East, United States of America, because we create real-time marketplace soft skills program. Like our latest program that we created, that we train people almost from all over the world, is virtual team collaboration. So we are a real-time marketplace gaps filling, upskilling, reskilling institution. That's what basically we do. So we see that there's a gap here in the marketplace as far as skills are concerned. Then we go back to the drawing board. How do we design the relevant skill that business people are going to need in order to adapt? That's our simple mission. When COVID-19 came in 2020, we noticed that we anticipated. One thing I do as a consultant is doing what I call research about the future of work and the future of companies. One of my book is The Future of Work in Africa. I am trying to anticipate and analyze where will the economy be in the next 20, 30, and 40 years in Africa. And when COVID-19 started, and I started talking about it even before COVID-19. When COVID-19 started, we anticipated that there would be the need of employees understanding how to use virtual platforms to become more productive in their various companies. So we designed a course known as Virtual Team Collaboration Certification Program. The aim was to teach anybody who is a novice on how to use online platforms to be an effective worker. Now, you're a worker and they say stay at home, but your company must operate. How do you go about it? So we created that curriculum and that program, and we train hundreds and hundreds of workers and entrepreneurs from across the world on how to use different platforms, different online tools, and still be effective and not lose their job. So that's basically our mission. How do we upskill entrepreneurs? How do we reskill them? How do we upskill job seekers, university students, and workers to make sure that they are at par as far as the marketplace is concerned? Until then, till now, that is still our single mission, and we have trained we are almost closing up to 30,000 certified people in different fields across the world. Yeah.
What a noble mission! What a track record! He's a business strategist. He's a trainer, business leader par excellence. Quite knowledgeable. We are speaking with Dr. Javnyuy Joybert, guest in today's edition of Apex Snapshots. I also understand that you consult with a lot of organizations, including non-governmental organizations. And while reading about you, we came across Sea Life. Tell us about this.
Yes, we provide a lot of corporate consulting and, of course, project consulting to different organizations, non-profit, even international agencies. We have had the privilege to provide consulting from that area to the African Development Bank projects, and, of course, worked in U.S. government part-funded non-profit projects back in Africa here and there. And Sea Life is actually a US-based non-profit, but their mission field is in Africa, where their goal is to raise servant leaders. So my job at Sea Life was to build their systems back in Africa, was to establish them back in Africa. So the founders and those who are behind the mission were here in the United States, but they needed somebody who can take their vision on paper and establish it back in Africa. So as a consultant, in terms of implementing projects, we got that job, or that consulting job, where I was the country director consultant with a simple mission, making sure that we establish this mission and this vision back in Cameroon, where it was the main headquarters, but of course with an African perspective as an institution. Yeah, so that was how I got involved with the Sea Life project, and it's one of the most incredible projects I've ever worked with, because of the founder, Sheila Tonga, an amazing visionary woman, and of course the vision is still thriving today, because my job was make the vision, establish it, create systems, create structures, recruit people, and then hand it over to them, and then leave the business, leave the institution. So and I did that in 3 years, and I left, and of course it's still thriving very well.
And I'm sure you left it better than you met it.
Well, basically I just made a paper, and this my vision, make it work. So
okay, that's remarkable. Earlier on during our conversation today, you mentioned something about remote workers, and this definitely makes us fall back to how much the world has become digitalized in the way we apply knowledge, in the way we carry out our affairs in our different careers, and especially now we are virtually doing this, and there are people watching across the globe. So could you just fall back on this particular aspect of digitalization when it comes to virtual learning? We've had some people who say, I'd love to have it one-on-one. If it is virtually, I'm not sure I'll be able to get the right knowledge. I don't think I can learn well. I prefer for you to be standing in front of me. So what is your take on virtual learning, which is the order of the day today, and how effective do you think this has been, particularly given that you're doing this also with Peak Performance University?
Virtual learning is the present and the future, and we have not seen 5% of virtual learning. We have not seen it. The technology that is going to power virtual learning is, people have not seen it yet. That's my guess. That's my review or my analysis as a future of work expert and a digital transformation consultant. We have not seen half of it. Even this platform that we're using, in the next 1 year, the technology will be more powerful, will be more dynamic, will be more. I don't know how to use it, but we cannot even anticipate. It's the same like mobile phones. You know, look at how short.
Yes.
Look at how short that mobile phones evolve. Let's go back to the Facebook. 2 years ago, there was no Reels. 2 years ago, there were many things that we are not on Facebook, right? So, and that just gives us a tip of where virtual learning is going to. And anybody who is not adapting either as a user or as a consumer, you are just doing yourself a disservice. And it's a force that I want to call it a universal force that you have only one option, either to adapt or you get lost in the marketplace. And we are in the most competitive marketplace where your inability to be agile and to adapt will cost you your business and your career, or will cost you your future. Unfortunately, that's the sad thing that will happen. And a lot of layoffs that we're seeing now in many companies, all of this is part of it. And as companies are laying off people, companies are also recruiting the right people.
That's right.
Yeah. So anybody, if you're in any field, agriculture, sport, whatever you're doing, virtual technology will hit you very hard. And the best way to do this is to adapt. That's why I said that the illiterate of the 21st century.
Sorry to cut you short. I want you to clarify something. You and I are speaking, we know our background. We're coming from a continent that is still struggling to join to join the rail of development. There are hinterlands across the continent. There are people who don't understand the language of virtual learning you and I are speaking today. So how do they go from here? Like, I mean, just tell us how you think, Africa is going to to survive this fast growing, this fast evolving, technology prone world?
It's simple. There must be somebody to teach and somebody to learn.
Okay.
As simple as that. Because, see, one of the most beautiful things about human nature is that we can get
Starfish Entertainment.
All right,
that's the most beautiful thing. People are wondering that, COVID-19. I was not bothered about COVID-19 because I know that there is something. See, the Bible says, I'm a minister, of course, I would not talk what happened in the Bible. Yeah? The Bible says that every human being in the book of Job, that when God created us, he embedded in us a vital force and the spirit of intelligence. The human race has the ability embedded in them to come out of any defeat. I was not bothered about COVID-19. I knew that we were going to adapt and we're going to come out of it. Right? And why am I saying this? I don't care whether you are in my village. We used to see a car once a month, and sometimes for 2 months don't see a car. There was no light. I didn't know about the first time I saw electricity with my eyes. I was already. It was when I was going to Form 1. You understand? So
the rapture was happening.
So it was like a new world for me, right? So what am I trying to say? No matter the village, if the person can have the mindset to learn and there is somebody available to teach, that human being will adapt. That human being will adapt. Mr. Kango, you when you started doing journalism, there was no StreamYard.
Sure.
Why are you using StreamYard, or how are you using StreamYard right now?
Times have changed.
It's in you. So you have there is a system in you, there is an intelligence in you that you inherited as a nature of God, which is called the spirit of intelligence, that you can use it and you can adapt in any situation. How do you define that a human being lives where they were born and travel to a new city and to a new country and they're able to succeed? Why do you think there's something power in that? So we have the ability. So I am not bothered that somebody grew up in a village or they don't have technology right now. My focus is eventually when there is the technology in front of you, are you going to learn? As long as you have that proactiveness to learn, you will adapt, and you will even use it better than the person who created it.
So just a little follow-up on that, falling back to what Ernest was mentioning, that because he mentioned the African continent, he's mentioned the realities and all of that. I think one of which would be internet services. But would you say that these are like the tangible excuses that we use so as not to adapt to these evolving systems we have around us today?
You know, there are some people that use it as an excuse. There are some people that is fear. There are some people that they just lack the means to access it. But what I always say is eventually you have the means, especially those who have the thought that you are adapting and being dynamic enough to make good use of it. For those who are making excuses and avoiding technology, one way or the other, they're going to learn it by force. Because if you don't adapt, you don't. If you're an entrepreneur, you don't adapt, another entrepreneur is going to adapt, use it, and kick you out of the marketplace.
Right.
Yep.
And become a better competitor than you. Yeah, so as I said, I think that one thing, there's a role that our governments can do, which is to create the ecosystem that can the availability of the infrastructure. But of course, in many infrastructure is not the best. But how do we adapt and make good use of the available infrastructure? And then secondly, to provide a platform that people can learn, and of course institutions and communities and governments to prove. As I said, if there is somebody to teach and there's somebody to learn, the gap will be covered.
If there is somebody to teach and another person to learn, the gap is definitely covered. Peak Performance University So it's an online university created by you?
Yes. Yeah, it's a unique higher learning and an innovative model that we are looking at. Our own kind of faculties are unique, and I bet you will not see many faculties. For example, we have the faculty of public speaking and facilitation. We have the faculty of coaching, mentoring, and consulting. We have the faculty of digital learning. And we have faculties that I don't even go to Harvard, you know, some of these faculties, right? What am I trying to say? We are trying to. The purpose that I created Peak Performance University was to create the ability of entrepreneurs and professionals to use unique intelligence in the marketplace the right way, because everybody's gifts are not equally distributed. Every human being is gifted. But many human beings don't have calling or the ability to convert their giftedness into value, into systems, into structures, and all of that. So we are, and majority of the education system across the world has not grown to that place where they can begin to convert of the human race into products and solutions and structures and whatever. That is the purpose. And of course, as an entrepreneurial university led by an entrepreneur, we are faster in decision making. Do you know how long it's going to take for a university to approve the faculty? But with us, if I think about it, I do research this night, tomorrow I'm approving it. Right? So with faculty of remote working and digital learning, it took us just a day's missing. We did analysis, did research. The next day, it added, I got the tech team, get on it. It was done. There's no bureaucracy, there's no voting, there's no anything.
Wow.
Right?
Hey, once it is thought of, it is
the product is dated, let's get to work.
Fast solution.
Good. Let's get to work. We don't need a whole university council to. We are not an academic university. We are not. There are many academic universities that have churned out thousands and millions of students, and many are broke. Why should you read marketing and you are broke? Why should you read? There are many one that if you read it well, if it entered you should not be struggling looking for a job.
That's a good one.
So we need to do systems and patterns and introduce something better that people can adapt into it. So that's the purpose of Peak Performance. We are all about raising.
And we see that, of course, many people have embraced this, and lots of people are still coming to know about it and also embracing what peak performance can actually offer to them. Now, let's get into the world of speaking, because Joybert is a trainer. Joybert is a coach. Joybert is one person who is passionate about personal development. In fact, all through our conversation, we could clearly see that this is something that is like it's your breath. You breathe it, you live it, you speak it, you do it. Everything about you has to do with people developing themselves on a daily basis, rather. So let's go back to November of 2022, where you were speaker at the Tebeba Youth Summit. Can you just tell us briefly what that summit is all about, and what did you tell the young people there?
Tebeba Youth Summit was organized by this youth-led organization in Nigeria. I don't know the exact state, so they asked me to be one of the keynote speakers, and they asked me to talk about the 10 things that successful young people. So I was sharing from my experience as a young person in Africa and having thousands of them across Africa. What do I think are those 10 things that is consistently, if they are going to become successful in their own right? And that was the purpose of the conference.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. And I can imagine they picking quite. Could you give us just two so we can also copy and paste?
Well, out of the many things that I shared, I think out of the many things that I shared, what I think if I could remember quickly, one of them that I spoke about was what I like to call discovery skills. I
Okay.
think that if any young person in life is going to succeed, they need to have discovery skills, the ability to discover things for themselves. You can call it curiosity, but curiosity with application combined. Um, we are in a continent where the government will never, never say never, the government is so inadequate in governance and effectiveness and all of that. And we don't have the structure policies that are designed to enhance us to succeed. So if you are not forward thinking in the way you can discover things and use them to amplify yourself and amplify your success and the work that you do, you're going to struggle. As I say, in a continent like Africa, God equally distributed talent and giftings, but on earth,
Mm.
opportunities are not equally distributed. If you cannot push yourself out of your comfort zone to discover the opportunities and go after them that can change your life, you're going to struggle. For
Mm.
example, maybe somebody, you're a young person on Facebook right now and you're following this session right now. You have discovered this platform. I will reach out to Mr. Kanjo and say,
Yeah.
can you host me on the show? Because if you sit, come meet you in your father's house. So that's the meaning of discoverable skills. Have this from you for yourself and you run after them. The second thing that I spoke about that young people need to win in Africa is resilience in the midst of hardship and chaos. Resilience in the
Okay.
midst of hardship and chaos. Again, I'm going back to many of us did not growing up in very good families. We didn't grow up in very good governance systems and structures. So, and is being managed in a way that can hurt dreams and destroy business dreams and careers. And if you're going to build something that viable and sustainable, you need to learn how to win in the midst of hardship. You need to
Okay.
learn to not stop doing good. The Bible says in the book of need, we should not stop doing good, because when you stop doing good, this time will come, you will not be able to harvest because you gave up easily. So, and in Africa, I believe one of the most important threats that every successful person has is the ability to be resilient and to keep knocking until they get what they're looking for.
Keep knocking until you get what you're looking for. Be a go-getter. If you think it, you can definitely do it. We're speaking to a young man with a very sound mind. Joybert is his name, his live on Apex One Radio, his live on Snapshot. Joybert, you're going to take a very short break. Time for us to refresh. Then, when you come back, the conversation will definitely continue. Maxel Agil is our producer. He's controlling us digitally from Valsut in Germany. Let's have some music, Maxel. Asaba, that beautiful piece of music there, released in 2021. Beautiful track, which has brought the time to 29 minutes past 5 here in the studio of Apex One Radio. We are live from the United States of America, precisely from Columbus, where Blessing and Ernest are having this very beautiful conversation with Joybert. Blessing, you and I seem to be in class.
Yeah, we are actually. I've been taking a lot of notes, and I think my jotter is almost full actually.
All right, let's get back to the lecturer. He's back. Welcome back, Joybert. Welcome back, Joybert.
Thank you.
All right, so
our lecturer on board.
The class continues. All right, how to build professional credibility. I'm coming across professional credibility for the very first time. I must be honest. There is a masterclass coming up next week to that effect. So, are you organizing this masterclass because you think that professional credibility is lacking somewhere? Otherwise, what is professional credibility all about?
Yes, that is, as I said earlier, one of the things that we are really good at as an institution is we do a lot of research, we observe a lot, we analyze a lot, we anticipate the marketplace where we're going to, all of that. And we identify the challenges that people face that enhance their failure. You know, failing at something, it means that something is an obstacle, you're lacking something, enhance your success. So one of the things that we observe as young professionals and entrepreneurs, and even the older generation, is they lack the ability to command professional credibility. It's very competitive. People are getting more skillful and getting more trained, technology coming here and there. Going to consistently have access to opportunities and command the respect you deserve in your industry as a professional. You need to understand your professional credibility, because we are in a dispensation where it is all about value that you can bring to the table. But if you are good at something and nobody knows that you are good at something, you'll be a poor man, right? If you are talented and nobody knows what you can do,
that's right.
Talented. Best way that you can make people to understand the skills that you have, the talents that you have, and what you can bring to the table is to understand your professional credibility and how to communicate it, right? And this is something that whether you're an entrepreneur, you need it. Whether you're a professional, you need it. You're trying to leave another industry to another industry, you need it. So professional credibility is all about, if you're in a room, you can make people to trust you that you deserve to be part of that table and to get paid for what you're good at.
All right, that's amazing. That definitely means that everyone and anyone can take this particular masterclass, of course, which is coming up Tuesday, February 7th, 2020. 2023. So could you just give us a little info on that? Is this going to be online? Is it in person? What's the fee? Who can attend?
Okay, let's totally free. It is our first free event for the year. We have so many events. So it's free. That's the first thing. It's free for everybody. And all you need to do is you must register, of course. You must register. Okay. And you can get to our website or to my Facebook social media platform on any of the social media platforms, Javnyuy, Joybert. You will see we're promoting it on all our social media platforms, where you can inbox me a link. And it's for, again, anyone who desires to grow and understand how to, that's the first we're teaching, how to, because they could have professional credibility, but they don't know that they have. How to craft your professional credibility and they will teach you how to use it to gain opportunities and to gain. And why not, as a professional, how can you get paid from your professional credibility? You will meet professionals that, like it has happened to me many times. Or we'll go to a speaking event, or we'll go for a speaking event, and then we'll go meet friends there, and we're like, oh, how much did they pay you? It's different from the other amount. The difference is that we bargain differently, right? So I went for a particular event, and I charged that event 500,000 francs, and they paid my friend 100,000 francs. The same event, same duration of speaking, but different fees. The difference is I understand how, and I'm not. You're not paying me for how much I'm talking. You're paying me for my credibility and the value I am bringing to the table. And there is a way that you can communicate this credibility. You can craft it, first of all, communicate it, and of course, influence people to pay. Good news is it's totally online. Anywhere, we're going to host it on our Zoom session, and we're going to broadcast it on Joybert, on my social media, Facebook, Joybert, and on YouTube, Remarkable Life with Dr. Javnyuy. So that's a YouTube channel that you're going to see there, and you can follow it anytime. On January 7th, 7 p.m. Cameroon time, that will be you're in the US or Central Time, around 12 p.m. Central Time.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and
1 p.m. Yes, standard time, I think.
Eastern time, yes.
Eastern time, sorry.
So this one here is even more interesting to me, especially. I came across this workshop to train workshop facilitators, which will be coming up on the 20th of this month, and it's still going to be organized by one of your one of your outfits. So facilitating in workshops. Why are you organizing this at this time? Have you noticed some gaps in this area? Otherwise, you said earlier that things have evolved, and now we're doing virtual learning. Has something changed in this domain as well? Is the way we facilitate workshops today different from, what used to be the case in the past?
Yeah, I think that one of the fastest changing industries is the knowledge industry, the knowledge economy, or the human capital development industry. So fast, and the players in this industry, you're a keynote speaker, you are just a public speaker, you're a facilitator, consultant, whatever. You need to understand how to adapt as the industry is changing. Workshops, companies always organize workshops, individuals organize workshops, and they need experts. Because you can talk doesn't mean that you're a good trainer. Because you can talk doesn't mean that it works. There are systems, there are structures that when you understand, you can become a more effective transformation. Of course, you can get paid from your art. And of course, the main aim of creating this particular session is because in a continent like Africa, there are very few structured platforms, the ethically trained trainers who can take this as a career and become successful. Not like in the US and in Europe, where before you do many things, recognize you that you're good at what you do and all of that, or you have the right educational capabilities. But in Africa, self-care and all of that. So there are many people that, because they have the passion and the desire, and because they can talk very well, they feel that they are trained and they are coaches. So the main aim of this, first of all, is to provide a platform, and that training is organized under Peak Performer University, under the Faculty of Training, Speaking, and Facilitation, to certify, to train and certify desire to become trainers and to become facilitators on how they can go about it and do it ethically, professionally, and of course, career. It's a career that you do it well, you get paid, and of course, make money out of it. And I've been speaking full time in the past 12 years, so anybody can build a career out of it and become successful. successful, but you need to understand the frameworks and how to do it. That's the purpose of the workshop. Of course, we have added how to organize trainings on a remote platform, because to do a workshop or a training physically or on-site is not the same like on a remote platform. And even now, we now do hybrid trainings. Many times when I'm doing training on-site, people follow on Zoom. So you need to understand what it takes to be a hybrid trainer. And when they're training on-site, they forget people on Zoom, right? Mm-hmm. So you need to understand the dynamics on how to do that effectively, and most importantly, get paid. Because if it's not,
it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense.
Okay, thank you very much for that one. Yes, we do have content to deliver, but we need to know the dynamics and how to best execute and deliver this particular content. Thank you very much for that particular last phrase. If it's not making money, it doesn't make sense. So, Joybert, please, can you briefly provide some details for us regarding the workshop? We know it's the 20th of February, but can we know about what platforms you'll be using, the fee for that one as well, and if there are any contacts that people who are watching you or listening to you right now can be able to get registered for this training?
We'll start on the 20th of February and we'll run for 10 days intensive. So if you're coming to do it, you need to be willing to put in the work for 10 days of intensive training, and of course, activities that you will do alone in your house, in your office, wherever you are, so you can make good use of what you're learning. And the fee is 50,000 francs, let's say averagely $100 averagely. So just convert from 50,000 francs to $100. And of course, it's going to be on Zoom, and the most busy person can attend, because the set also social, in case you are caught up at work, you can always catch up later, but you must make sure that you finish within the time so that we can rate you, assess you before we can accreditate you. And if you're interested to register, you can get to us on WhatsApp +237 674 94 91 53 +237 674 94 91 53, and somebody will get back to you, or you can write us on any social media platform, Javnyuy Joybert, or you can go Cell BMD Africa Facebook page or Peak Performer University. You're going to see us there.
Wonderful opportunities.
We'll reach back to you immediately.
So make use of those opportunities. He's here to make sure that the community grows. Joybert is his name. Guests on the show. All right. So one of such opportunities I'm coming across as well is the Marketplace Africa Positioning Fellowship. What is that all about?
Yes, a fellowship that we created because we noticed that find it difficult to position themselves for opportunities. I always say, when God wants to change your life, God will throw opportunities at you, but it's your responsibility to be where you can find these opportunities. So Marketplace Positioning Fellowship is a free fellowship that runs for 12 days. It runs for 12 days, go through 12 modules, and all of these modules are designed to teach you to position yourself online and offline. Opportunities can find you, or where you can find opportunities. So it works in your mindset, attitude, the tools that you can use, how to use Facebook, LinkedIn, and all these platforms to put you can find opportunities, or where they are passing by mistake, they can hit you, right? So, and that's the purpose, because opportunities don't leave and meet you in your house. You need, if you are not showing up, or you are not where they can find you, you will not be able to. For example, I was on the BBC I've had the privilege to be on BBC Five and as a personality for whatever reason, for different reasons. And there was a session I was being asked that how did I jokingly, but that's a fact. I said, how do work God and social media? That's a fact. I've had the privilege to travel 20 countries plus to do work. And let me tell you something. All of these people have seen me online. So if a few are from the place of recommendation, there's some recommending me because there's someone said there's this guy online, check him out. If you like him, call him. One thing I don't play about is positioning. Because I believe is one of the most powerful things that any professional or any entrepreneur can do. If you are able to position yourself, you always be where money will find you or life-changing opportunities will find you. And there's an art of positioning, and that's why we created the Marketplace Positioning Fellowship to teach. It's a free program. It's not paid. It's free. Okay. Because my desire is that we want to train 10,000 young Africans on how they can position themselves and find changing opportunities on and offline.
Wow.
That's remarkable. In fact, Dr. Remarkable. Definitely anything you have to do needs to be remarkable. All right, then, so we have heard a whole lot about Joybert, the speaker, Joybert, the trainer, and events that are upcoming. Now, let's look into Joybert, the author. So being an author, you have definitely authored not just a book or two, but you have been on this journey for a while as well. But if we have to just go back a few days, you just published a new book, which you say is free. You're giving quite a lot of content out there, and I'm sure our listeners and viewers should be rushing to get most of these free products before they land the bills on you. And you won't be able to handle it. So the book's title is striking, to say the least. When we look at the title, you have there, disappointed in your career and business as a Christian, how to partner with God in your career and business. So we first of all want to know what inspired this, of course, because one would expect that Christians would stay afloat in any form of adversity. Remember, it is said by this in the scriptures, count it all joy when you go through adverse situations and challenges. But then you're writing this book which says that Christian business owners or business people could be facing some challenges. So what inspired it? And by writing this book, are we assuming that Christians are not always afloat in the job market when it comes to challenges? Please tell us more.
Yeah, that book is from that perspective, and church rat came from. I am poor like a church rat. Right? It came from the concept because they used to see, but Christians were actually the most poorest set of people, because the gospel, especially in Africa, came from the perspective that the more poorer you are, the more holy you are. And when I started studying the Bible for myself, I saw that
Okay. We lost him again. He's stuck there. Hopefully he will be back. Thank you so much. If you are just joining us, this is Apex One Radio.
I do find this particular book quite interesting,
It is. It's quite interesting. Let's bring him back and see how it looks like this time. Okay, Joybert, welcome back.
Yeah, sorry about that. So again, it's simple. The purpose of the book is how can Christians be really successful in their careers and businesses. One of the things I believe is that a Christian should be a very successful person. I strongly want me to start preaching that. Right? Even before that, before being a minister where I preach in churches and all of that, I believe that I am supposed to be successful. Because if God is really there and the Bible is true, from what I'm reading, I can see on the success and goodness. Yes, there's adversity, but the good news is because God anticipated that, with challenges and the enemy and all of that, he also gave us power. Do not be worried because I've overcome all of this. So why should a Christian? Poverty is a trial and tribulation and adversity. So overcome it and become rich. So why should we be broke? Why should you not be? Why should we not have successful bankers in the church? So misconception of Christianity, so long ago.
Yeah. That's right.
And so the purpose of the book is you can still be a Christian, you can still be a tongues speaking,
fire branded Christian,
Holy Ghost filled child of God. So in your art, in your industry, Christians don't know how to partner with God to make this work. So, because everything in God is an asset for the word of God. Favor is a platform. How can you partner with the favor of God and experience favor in what God talks about? The Holy Spirit. How can you partner with the Holy Spirit and become good at what you do? The Bible talks about the spirit of knowledge and the spirit of wisdom. How can you partner with this to be good at what you do? You see, so I am on a mission. My next book, as far as linking, is called Seven Spirit of Manifestation. There are 7 spirits that have been clearly outlined in the Bible for we as Christians to embody. And these are spirits that we can embody them in our daily lives as professionals and entrepreneurs. There's a spirit of sound mind, the spirit of knowledge, spirit of all of these 7 spirits I've seen in the Bible. If you are going to become very successful as a Christian, you need to understand these different spirits and harness them into your career and business and see them begin to. The Bible says I need to have the spirit of intelligence. So why should I think stupid? Right? So I need to begin to understand what do I need to do as a Christian to become the best in my field?
Okay.
As a highly intelligent person, that God embedded in me the spirit of intelligence. So that's the concept.
Yeah, this literally.
So the point is to help Christians who are professional all of this into it.
Okay. So it means Christians can get this, and I think even non-Christians too can get this, because God is your vessel, and bringing God into your business could be a very strategic move to do. I think we need to know how available that book is and how people can be able to get it.
Yes, the first book on how to partner with God in your career and business, you can get it on it's on the Seller store, seller.co/JJ. You can get it there, or you can. The book is being promoted on all my social media platforms. You can just go there and.
Okay, that's good. At least anyone can get it. Anyone can download it. Can you say that again? Seller.
Yes. And again, it's free. Yes. Again, it's free, so anybody can get it.
Okay. Awesome. Ernest, I think my jotter is already full, completely full, and I'm trying to squeeze some space to put a whole. I don't know what I'm going to do with this jotter. It doesn't seem to be getting everything in. And interestingly, we know that you just recently put out a book. Another, which is 40 plus business models and examples, practical ways, different business. Okay, practical ways where different businesses make money across Africa. So now this is still about business, but we're looking at other examples as well. So is this another book of hope for entrepreneurs and future ones? What are you up to in this particular one? Let's know just a little, not much into it, so that our list will have something to do the book for.
Yeah, I think the book explains itself. I just sat and I was wondering why, in business we're making money. Money is better call it charity, so we know that you're a charity organization. Don't say business and you're broke. You say you have a business, you're making money. So I just then when I see a business not making money, because if it's a business, there should be exchange of money and services. So I now
Yeah.
sat, I was like, I've had the privilege to into thousands one-on-one and coaching and here and there training and across Africa, Middle East and North America and so on. So I sat down and I was like, what can I do? Because also the questions that people ask me, oh, I have this idea, how can I make money from it? I have this idea, how can I make, and sometimes some don't are not, they are not available to pay one-on-one. So I now started thinking, how can I do it? I was like, oh, you know what? Since you have helped people to build business models and help them to make money from their ideas and create structures for them, just document as many as you can that people can read. Like there are many people who have read the book. There's a lady who reached out to me. I even shared the testimony on my Facebook page, and she said she has already seen two business models to integrate in her existing company to make more money. So the aim of that book is I have picked different ideas and different companies because sometimes you can look at a company from the outside. You don't know what they really do to make money. So, as a business engineer who develop models and strategies for companies, I know how a business makes money from any way you can point out to me. I can just look at it. I can anticipate, okay, this is what they do, what they do, what this, and I can address to it. But many have had the privilege to work inside and understand how they do. So I decided to document more than 90% of companies across Africa that make money what is inside that book. So if you ever wondered,
Oh,
how do schools really make money? How do hospitals and health centers make money? How, if you really want to know, so that just assume that they pay fees, okay? But don't you'll be surprised that a school has more than 7 ways to make money, which
oh,
I've documented in the book. And if you don't know these ways because you are not a business expert or you don't have a business mind, you may just think that schools make money only from paying fees. But no, there are more ways which I've highlighted in that book. So I've taken all of these businesses and their models, more than 40 of them. It's a 195-page book. So you can imagine what's in that book, right?
that's
So
amazing.
you can go through and you can see, and you will also see business that you never knew that existed. Oh, yes. I can guarantee that if you go through that book, you will see at least 10 businesses you never knew that existed in Africa, and people are making money from it. So you go
To
through
say
it.
the least, we need
For
the book.
for some people, they will perfect their business models. For some people, they will need to change their business models and adopt new ones from there. And of course, they are going to become successful. So the book is out now. It's on discount, and very soon it's going to be on Amazon, and so that international people can buy. For now, it's still ebooks and soft copies. For now, people are getting it, and you can get yours, or you can wait for the hard copies that will be released on Amazon very, very soon, and you can get your own copy. And there's a follow up book to that book where I have highlighted 30 marketing and sales strategies to market your business.
Okay, wow.
Yes.
Joybert, if my business is fetching me so much money, do I still need to read this book?
I have had the privilege to coach somebody whose business is making 100 million francs every week, and they want to make 500 million.
Hmm. Oh, sorry.
Or
We lost him. Okay, this is Apex 182. We are gradually but steadily moving to the end of this very great conversation, which has unfortunately has been marred by a lot of technical hitches. Well, that notwithstanding, Blessing has taken a lot of notes. Blessing has taken a lot of notes.
of course,
We'll share those
of
notes,
course.
Blessing.
Oh, I hope you have yours too, so we can literally
I
get to
do.
share. It's going to be
I
trade
do.
by barter.
Sure. Well, let's hope that he comes back, and when he does, we'll just run off with him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we are gradually
So,
drawing the curtains on this
mhm,
particular edition of the program. And of course, we do hope that our viewers and listeners are picking quite a lot, as I have been picking here, and I'm sure Ernest has been picking as
sure.
well. So, for those of you who have been tuned in till now, please do make sure to get to our guest, get to the social media handles that you've been getting, while we
Mm,
wait for him to come back and give us more about how you can get to him and all of these products he has available
mm,
for you. I am trying to adjust my sheet here to be sure that I can write more. Thank God he's back.
sure. All right, Joybert, you are back, and in 3 minutes we will be out of here. Welcome back.
Thank you.
All right. So let us look at some of your upcoming events. What do you have in the pipeline? What should we know?
Well, one thing that I've been procrastinating to do, which I'll be doing a lot this year, is out of 24 books. So, and they're in my shelf. Never launched them. That's why, if you notice, this is the fourth book I'm launching this year. Right? I launched 2, 1 paid, 1 free. So I'm doing 1 paid, 1 free, 1 paid, 1 free. So, but I just love to give it out. The Bible says, as freely as you have received, freely give. So I'm doing a lot of giving, a lot. And Jesus said that if you truly love me, feed my sheep. So I love Jesus so much, so I'll be feeding people a lot with wisdom and knowledge. So one of the major goals for this year is that, so one of the major goals for this year is that I'll be launching a lot of the books that have been on my computer for so long. And again, I write very practical books of read and do. So especially business books, and of course, personal development and transformational books will be launched a lot this year. And of course, we are scaling up a lot of our training programs, a lot of certification programs to help people to fit in the job market. It has gone way faster, and there's going to be a lot of disruption in the business ecosystem for the marketplace, and especially young people. You cannot prepare the future for young people, but you can prepare people for the future. So we have programs lined up with our resource persons to help them to adapt for that. So much more coming up throughout the year.
Okay.
That's great. We look forward to it. We definitely look forward to all of this that is coming up. We will definitely be getting you again on the program. But for that edition, we will be looking into the different philosophies, the different ideas and concepts that you have been able to walk or run by all through these years, and not just as a coach, not just as a business strategist, not just as a financial management and analysis professional, but as an individual as well, personally in your life. It's been an amazing edition so far. Like Ernest clearly said, I've been jotting a whole lot. I've been jotting a whole lot. So we have to do trade by barter later on. And of course, this Apex Snapshot edition has been jam-packed with quite a lot. We still need to go and digest.
Right. That's great. So today we handled the first 2 P's, the person and his projects, right? So in the next section, we'll be doing the last P, which will be the philosophies.
That's right.
That'll be my favorite one.
Joybert, want to thank you so much for joining us on the show today. Yours is a fantastic story. You have a noble mission, and one good thing about you is that you have that burning desire for other people to succeed. That selflessness is priceless. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me, and looking forward to the next episode.
Definitely. So do have a fantastic rest of the day out there in Texas. Bye for now. Blessing.
Present.
It was, we were spellbound.
That's right.
School.
Despite the glitches, we still got a lot out of him, and it's been quite a ride.
Well, so let's meet again for the subsequent edition. This time around, he will put us in another school completely.
That's right. I think I'll be coming this time around with a bigger ledger. Next time I'll have a bigger ledger so that I can copy for us both, because it seems like I'm doing all the writing here.
Great. Well, Blessing, you have a fantastic rest of the evening, and just to announce that tomorrow you and I will be on the air for yet another edition of Apex Snapshots. This time around we'll be talking to these ladies who call themselves assiduous women.
Assiduous women, yeah.
I think we'll discover that tomorrow. I don't know what that is all about, but you and I will discover that tomorrow.
And we're asking all of our listeners and viewers to tune in. Make sure that you do not miss out on this one. For you who's a woman out there, for you who's a father, who's a brother, who's a husband, you want to also tune in to find out what the assiduous women will be having for us. It's going to be a great journey just like we've had today. And I think I personally am looking forward to it.
Our time will be 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. in Germany, from where the ladies will be speaking. And until then, we want to say thank you so much. Marcel Adil was our producer. Blessing and others for your host. Bye for
now. Mama, Nagei, Kasilobi Nako Zongai, Mopembo, Ezalindeli Wateo. Nagei, Kasilobi Nako Zongai, Bayama, Mopembo, Ezalindeli Wateo. Totika Musika, Tokende Koluka Bomo. Toko mami telengano Noka mopaya Nania Sungayo Pasi Nakei Kasilobi Nako Zonga Tandele Pembo Iwateo Mama, Nagei, Kasilobi Nako Zonga, Mopembo.